It is not wrong to say that the Skywars community on Hypixel is one of the most toxic communities on the server. Just like with any other huge game, it's bound to happen. Doxing, scamming, and even sim swapping all have happened before in this community. While these are extreme cases, I want to dedicate this video to something more prevalent that damages more relationships and ruins this game. And that is something as simple as your ego. About a week ago now, maybe more when I upload this video, there was a scuffle between some Skywars grinders in our community. This happened on Twitter, and it was between two people, Virmah and A0E. Virmah is a Skywars grinder who has basically gotten 90% of his stats in the past year, and has ended up on the levels leaderboard. At this point, I believe he's position number 7, but it depends on how much he grinds by the time I make this video. To summarize the Twitter drama crudely, what happened was that Virmah was hellbent on beating A0E's monthly wins record, and ended up doing it. When it happened, A0E called him a no-life, etc., and ended up blocking all of his friends who are also friends of Virmah's. Now, I'm not going to take any sides here. In my honest opinion, I think both people were acting pretty immaturely to each other, but I understand both perspectives. A0E seemed to take it a bit less lightly and ended up deleting his channel and deactivating his Twitter account. But I see this entire situation as a summation of the problems that have increased in our community over the past year. With everyone in quarantine, everyone has been grinding. The top half of the Skywars level leaderboards have experienced at least a 50% increase. On top of that, tools to complement grinding have become crazy popular. Trino.club, a website used to track stats, has absolutely blown up in the grinding community. It's safe to say that everyone has become obsessed with numbers. In a way, these numbers have come to define some grinders. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be when mixed in with some other factors. The community has become super connected in social media, with Skywars players following each other on platforms like Twitter. At times, this means that your Skywars achievements, milestones, and stats all follow you beyond just the game, and that can be detrimental. When your activity in a virtual video game accompanies you outside of that game, it is natural to base your identity around those numbers. I have a sneaking suspicion that these numbers have come to define many people, and that is a problem. We constantly rank players as a community, putting them on tier lists, comparing them to other players, even basing our friend groups around these stupid statistics. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but I believe it causes the toxic environment of our community. It causes the Virmah A0E situation. It causes people who could be working together to instead become mortal enemies of each other. That's because when someone makes fun of the numbers that another player gains, those numbers have become so attached to that other player's identity that it leads to actual problems with their self-esteem, leads them to lash out, and ultimately leads to ugly toxicity. I think this is why we cannot unite into a great guild, a huge symbiotic grinding community, or a collaborative effort. I would really like to see this happen in the future, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. We all need to drop our egos and treat each other like actual people across the screen. Most of us already do this, but we don't do this to our greatest enemies in the community. I'm talking about those who have blatantly cheated on us, or sniped us, or harassed us. It makes no sense to do it again back to them. Banter, jokes, and some back and forth is okay, but actual hatred towards the other person is unjustified. Remember, an eye for an eye makes a whole world go blind. It's better if we drop all the drama and act like the bros we are, the Skywars buddies that struggle against the same problems despite our stats and ranked rewards.